I watched the incoming telemetry with the other members of the council. 7 million lives.
What's up, lore masters? It is my opinion that, even with all of its flaws, there are stories and writing aspects of Star Trek Enterprise that far exceed most any other Trek, at least as a conglomeration. An example of this would be what we're going to be talking about today, the Xindi War. In today's episode, aptly named Stratagem, we get to see yet another one of the many sacrifices the crew of the NX-01 have to make. This time, it would be another chipping away of their morals, their integrity, and their very soul. The show starts with both Archer and Degra, the Xindi who is the architect of Star Trek's Death Star. And in this episode, apparently they were successful in annihilating Earth, and the NX-01 Enterprise has been destroyed.
A few weeks later, the weapon was launched. It destroyed my planet.
Wow, I've never seen that one before. Using the same plot points aside, it is an interesting look. Not because we see Degra and Archer having to survive, but because it's all a lie. The crew of the Enterprise found Degra and his cohorts in a smaller ship than what the NX-01 was. They were able to easily disable it and took them prisoner. The Doctor then realized he could wipe the memories of Degra, and so did it in an attempt to get information out of the Xindi. After his mind was wiped, Archer would pretend that everything was successful, but he was thrown into a prison, and at that point he would try to gain a relationship with Degra. There are two really great points to this arc that are subtle subplots that are never spoken, but again done very well. First, we see the regret that Degra has, both when he thinks that everything was successful but his life went to hell, and when he knows that it was all a trick, but he still has to do what he has to do.
7 million lives were extinguished in front of my eyes.
He doesn't necessarily want to kill people, but he does believe it's the only way to save lives. Xindi lives. Archer, conversely, hates the man. He realizes that this is the person that created the machine that killed 70 million people and would ultimately destroy all of Earth.
I asked myself, how many of those were children?
Degra wanted to remove all of humanity. Every moment that Archer isn't with him, you can see how much he hates having to act like he actually likes Degra. And it would seem that his pain would pay off. Degra would ultimately give the coordinates of the planet where the weapon was being built because his family was located there. It's a long story. I would encourage you to watch the episode if you don't remember, but for the most part, again, Degra believes that some of the Xindi turned against other Xindi, and they were looking for his family to see if they survived the attack. However, before Archer can confirm that these coordinates really are where his family would be, Degra figures out that it was all a ruse and tries to play it off that he had always known and these weren't the coordinates where the weapon was. When Archer says he thinks he's lying, that Degra was being honest at that point, it's just so wonderfully played.
I'd be willing to bet those coordinates are real.
Then I suggest you proceed there at maximum warp.
The Xindi then tells him to go there at maximum warp, trying to use reverse psychology on him. It is a really good episode. And one of the reasons I am being very vague on the plot points because I believe this is an episode that should really be watched just for being a good episode. As stated, at first Degra claims that he knew it was a lie the whole time, and that's why he told them where to go. Archer truly believes the weapon is here. However, the problem is that if he's wrong, they'll have wasted 3 weeks, and the NX-01 Enterprise might not recover from that. They had to be sure. So Archer did what humans are really good at: deception.
Land a course for those chemosite signatures. Full impulse. Get him out of here.
You'll never get close to the weapon! Our defense perimeter will destroy you!
Through a minor ruse, he's able to convince Degra that the NX-01 had used Xindi technology to get to the planet very quickly. He then orders an attack, and Degra gives it away accidentally that the weapon is there, stating that the defenses will destroy the NX-01 Enterprise. I just absolutely love this entire episode. After confirming that this is where the weapon is, they do wipe all of the Xindi's minds and leave them back on their ship, though they couldn't completely cover their tracks, which may come in later. As usual, this is one of those episodes where I have to address it, but there's not a lot there to address. It's a bridge, so definitely stay tuned because we're going to have more Xindi War coming up quick. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.